I am told that there's a liberal media and that the liberal media have been supporting Democrats and progressives and liberals for all this time. Really, who's the liberal media? CNN, nothing but disdain. Every time they talk about Bernie Sanders, socialists going to raise my taxes. We're all rich here. We don't want you to raise our taxes. Now, I've shown you example after example of that. If you want to go to our YouTube channel, watch it, okay? CNN, the Clinton News Network. You watch that, okay? Now, I've shown even MSNBC does it. Fox News certainly does it. Even the Associated Press from time to time does it. Now, so who is it? Who's the liberal media? Well, the newspapers, of course. New York Times, at liberal media, who told us, Iraq's got weapons, weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, you got to attack Iraq right away. That's the liberal media. No, wait. There's got to be one. Washington Post, they're the liberal media. These are the guys who broke Watergate, right? They got Nixon to resign. Washington Post, liberal media. Oh, good, their editorial board just came out with an editorial to talk about one of the candidates. Oh, it's Bernie Sanders. Perfect. Since they're the liberal media, they're obviously going to endorse Bernie Sanders, right? I mean, that's what I get told by the mainstream media all the time, how they're so liberal as they support one corporate position after another, right? So let's go to the headline of this editorial and find out. Headline is, quote, Bernie Sanders' fiction-filled campaign. Oh, that's interesting. It turns out there is no liberal media. Washington Post hates Bernie Sanders. What happened to the fucking liberal media? Okay, let's give you the details of the op-ed. This is not one person writing an editorial at the Washington Post. This is the Washington Post editorial board. This is the opinion of the Washington Post as an organization. Quote, Senator Bernie Sanders is leading in New Hampshire and within striking distance in Iowa, in large part because he's playing the role of uncorrupted anti-establishment crusader. But Mr. Sanders is not a brave truth teller. He is a politician selling his own brand of fiction to a slice of the country that eagerly wants to buy it. Okay, what are you talking about? This guy didn't come out of the woods out of nowhere like Donald Trump, who wasn't in politics, who has had positions all over the board. I'm pro-choice, I'm pro-life, I'm this, I'm that. I mean, the hypocrisy of Donald Trump is on the record. It's very, very clear. Bernie Sanders does not have that record, so it's hard for you to lie about it. His record has been enormously consistent. Why do you think he caught on fire? Everybody's so sick of the fakeness, right? The fakeness that you guys in the mainstream media represent. The fakeness of Washington and New York. So Bernie Sanders comes and catches on fire because you can't fake a 40-year progressive record. He's on the record over and over again. You know who told us he's the most progressive guy in the Senate? You guys did. As you did it with disdain oozing from your mouth. The most progressive senator, the most liberal senator. And he's got the voting record that shows, yes, in fact, he was the most progressive senator. That's why he's not lying. He's telling you exactly what he would do and what he has done for 40 years. But you called him a liar anyway because you can't stand him because you're the establishment. You're not liberal media. Don't you get it? All the media is owned by corporations. Corporations are gigantic and enormously rich and powerful. You think they want change? What would we change? We change them. They don't want that change. You think they're bothered by Donald Trump or Ted Cruz? They aren't half as bothered. They aren't 1% as bothered by those guys as they are by Bernie Sanders because they get a sense he might actually change things. He might change the people in power. Who's in power now? The mainstream media. They're scared to death of this guy. I've got more from the op-ed. They say, Mr. Sanders' success so far does not show that the country is ready for a political revolution. It merely proves that many progressives like being told everything they want to hear. Okay, let's pause here to get a good belly laugh on this. So now let me get this right. He is succeeding in the polling. He's clearly winning in New Hampshire, and now it appears that he's tied or leading in Iowa. So your conclusion on that is that he is not successful. It is not a political revolution, even though this is a guy you told us had no chance of winning. That's what you've been saying for all these years. No chance of winning. All of a sudden, he's winning. And now you say, no, it still doesn't count. It still doesn't count. It's not a political revolution, and it doesn't prove anything. No, that is exactly what polling proves. It proves that progressives like his message, and they took a senator that you said had no chance of winning and gave him a chance of winning. See, that's exactly what it proves. So to say that it's not resonating is wishful thinking on your part because you're scared to death that it might be resonating. So now let's get into more specifics. They say Mr. Sanders' story continues with fantastical claims about how he would make the European social model work in the United States. He admits that he would have to raise taxes on the middle class in order to pay for his universal Medicare for all health care plan, and he promises massive savings on health care costs that would translate into generous benefits of ordinary people, putting them well ahead on net. But he does not adequately explain where those massive savings would come from. Once again, totally and utterly untrue. He says, look, he explained it in the town hall event the other day. They wrote this op-ed after the town hall event. He says, okay, look, first of all, most of the tax increases are going to the very, very rich, to the 1/10 of 1%. Now, if you want to talk about specifically the issue of healthcare, if you're going to do single payer, what you need to do is, yes, you need to raise taxes, including on middle-class Americans, because you need everybody involved in that system. But you're going to get twice as much savings if you go to single payer. Now, how do you know that? You know that from what you dismissively call the European social model. Yeah, but the Europeans have done it, and they've proven it, and it turns out there are tremendous savings. So even if you give $5,000 more in taxes, as an example, you get back $10,000 in savings. Now, that's not fantastical. It's something that country after country has done. And you know where they rank in healthcare? Above us, not below us. I'm not even talking about costs. I'm talking about delivery of quality healthcare. You know where we rank in the world? Number 37. And these guys say, you think you're going to do better than number 37 by doing models that have proven to work and have much better results than the U.S.? Fantastical. In other words, whatever you do, please don't tax us. Don't tax the rich. Please don't tax us. Now, we'll pretend to care about the tax on the middle class. Actually, we know you're saving money for the middle class. But what we really care about is the people running this corporation who actually would pay more in taxes, and they really, really don't want to do that. How do you like that from the liberal media? All right, one more specific in the article for you. It's not an article. It's the opinion of the Washington Post. Here's a reality check, they say. Wall Street has already undergone a round of reform, significantly reducing the risks big banks pose to the financial system. Oh, I see, it's fixed. How do you like this liberal media telling you, oh, we already reformed the banks. It's nothing to look at. Move along. Wait a minute. Can they still gamble with investor money? Did we reinstate Glass-Steagall? Oh, no, we didn't. They can still gamble with investor money. Is there still out-of-control gambling on Wall Street? Provable by every expert in the field. Don't we fixed it already? Just stop meddling. Leave Wall Street alone. Liberal media. Okay, on that same topic, the evolution and structure of the world economy, not mere corporate deck stacking, explain many of the big economic challenges the country still faces. I love that quote. It's not the corporations. Don't touch our beloved corporations. That is not the problem. Corporate deck stacking is not the problem. The problem is your world economy. I mean, what does that mean? Washington Post is supposed to give us facts and information. What does that mean? The this evolution and structure of the world economy. How does that lead to the economic collapse that we saw in 2008? It's not the structure of the world economy. It was the structure of, for example, ratings agencies that are incentivized to say, oh, you're going to pay me money. I'll give you a AAA rating even though you didn't deserve it. You see, that system is rigged. Bernie Sanders, one of the many proposals he has is, let's unrig it. If they're going to give a rating to a bank or to a specific product that they have, you know what? Maybe they should be fair and neutral so that consumers are not betrayed, so that you protect American citizens instead of the banks you want to protect. Outrageous. No. It's just the world economy. Look away from all the corporate wrongdoing, all the wrongdoing of Wall Street. But the thing that drives me crazy, okay, fine, Washington Post is massively conservative, totally pro-establishment, and that's why they can't stand Bernie Sanders. But then they turn around and say, these guys are liberal media. That's a joke, man. It is complete and utter propaganda. There is no liberal media. Are there facets of the media that have a progressive perspective. Yes, The Nation, us, many other parts of the media that are like that. Is the mainstream media wholly corporate-owned, obsessed with profits, soaking in the money that they get from all of the politicians? Where do you think the money in politics goes? It goes to TV ads, it goes to newspaper ads, it goes to radio ads. They're bathing in the corruption. You think they're liberals? No, they're the exact opposite. They are the protectors of the establishment. That when they tell you don't listen because it's the liberal media, that's a joke. So finally, you got my sense of it. Let me give you Bernie Sanders' sense. When asked about this Washington Post editorial, he said, "People are telling us, whether it's the Washington Post editorial board or anybody else, our ideas are too ambitious, can't happen, too bold." Really? Well, here's something which is really bold. In the last 30 years, there's been a massive transfer of wealth from the middle class and working families of this country. The middle class has become poorer, and trillions of dollars have been transferred to the top 0.1%. Where was the Washington Post to express concern that the middle class was shrinking? Where was your op-eds about the fantastical ideas that the Republicans had when they said, oh, no, let's give all the tax cuts to the rich and to the corporations, and then it'll trickle down on your heads? And when it turns out that wasn't the case at all, where was your opinions about how they were lying and deceiving you? Waiting, liberal media, I'm still waiting. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. As they extracted trillions of dollars of wealth from the middle class and gave it to the very top, partly you guys, there were no editorials. Not a peep was heard. When Bernie Sanders says, hey, maybe we should actually look out for the middle class, how dare he? Fantastical, outrageous. No, just trust Wall Street. Finally, he couldn't help but throw one more jibe in there on foreign policy. And the Washington Post editorial board, if you think their domestic policy is conservative, you should get a load of their foreign policy. There isn't a war that the Washington Post hasn't loved in the last couple of decades. So Sanders says about the Post, check out where all the geniuses on the editorial page were with regard to the invasion of Iraq. Okay, I believe we have a saying for that. It's called the people's elbow. Oh, yeah, you geniuses on the editorial board. Hey, where were you on Iraq? Oh, right. You wanted to go into Iraq. Don't believe the hype. The mainstream media is nowhere near liberal. They're corporate-owned, and they work for the establishment. So if they tell you all these lies about Bernie Sanders, don't believe it for a second. Check out the actual facts, his actual record, and look at logic and reason, not these biased guys who are obsessed with protecting their own ass.